when you mix comedy and horror, you're walking it's a thin line. It's like, it could be too. I was just talking to your publicist, Camelia, who's awesome. And I was just saying, that, sometimes you get these guys that they just want to make it funny and be goofy, and it takes you out. And this didn't. It never took me out of the movie, man.
That's awesome.
It was
Thank you.
it was like those three guys and the old guy, they have these conversations, but when they get brutal, it's dark. It is fucking dark. And you're like, yes, stay there. And your character, I haven't seen you play a character like that, but you're so reserved and very like, oh my God, this guy's going to snap sometime. Who's he going to snap on?
That's
and
awesome.
It was just very well thought out. The dialogue was good. Little things like of her, what's her character's name again? Becky, I just it's in the title, you idiot. No, but Becky, like, she's in this scene and she's a waitress, and this guy says darling and kind of belittles her, and she's looking at him like, huh. And then she slits his throat in a certain way. I don't want to give anything away, which I just did. But then you realize it's just in her mind, that idea. Yeah. You're like, oh, but it's so vicious. And you think things are going to happen. You're like, oh, this is going to happen. And it doesn't. And when it gets going, like if you like movies, like there's this movie Sisu that I love.
I want to see that. I saw the trailer for that. It's
brilliant.
Awesome.
It's brilliant. Okay. And this has this, it's in the same vein. It's in the same vein as that. It's in the same vein of Nobody with Bob Odenkirk, who I love, who he came on the podcast.
Yeah, I haven't seen that, but that looked great.
Oh, dude. And it's like, it's just really fun to watch. And it's got some shocking moments and some hilarious moments. And the lead characters, she's so good and she's likable.
She's so good. It really, thank you for saying, I'm so glad that
I swear I wouldn't say it.
I felt the same way when I watched it.
Mm-hmm.
Because, for me, I think I only shot for like 1 week and all my stuff is in one location. So there's so much that they shot that I didn't see. And so it was such a treat to watch. And I was like, holy fuck, everything you just said, it worked. Because when you're shooting ththese smaller movies, and the movie doesn't look small at all. But
you never know.
Yeah. And you're like, you don't know, and it was one of those experiences too that, just creatively and personally, these smaller movies, like, was just really fulfilling. You're kind of you have a close group of people, like it's a smaller crew. And so you go like, all right, well, the experience was fantastic. If it works, then great. But when I watched it, it was everything you just said. It was such a tight movie. And they, Matt Angel and Suzanne Coote, the writer directors, they nailed the tone.
I want to work with them. You tell them I want to be in a movie with those guys. They know what they're doing.
I will definitely tell them. They would love that.
They know what they're doing. And, I mean, I wonder if like when they sent you the script, because the script's great, but I bet there's one part of it that's the reason you took the role. Can I guess? Yeah. It's the monologue you tell them about squeezing the guy.
Oh yeah. Well, it's a good story to that because, so they sent me the script and I hadn't seen the first Becky, and I actually hadn't worked for almost a year because I was doing a TV show, and you know how it is, you're like in a weird holding pattern and it kind of fucks you with like other projects. And so then this thing came around and I had like a little window, and when I read the script, I loved the script, and the part I guess I couldn't figure out really what to do with it. And then it just had some ideas, and I wanted to see if they'd be open to hear my ideas, and they were. And so, one of them, they had a monologue in there, but I said, what if the guy, because with that monologue, and you don't have that much time that you spend with this character, is like, here's an opportunity to really share who this guy is, create more of a threat, and get an idea of his history. So it just raises the stakes. And I just said, if he had he was, ex Army Ranger, that whole monologue it was like a combination of like, it was a real collaboration. And I shared these ideas, and they were so awesome about it. They rewrote that monologue. And when I read it, I was like, fuck yeah. Like, that was it for me. And that really informed the rest of the characters. So the character became quite different than what was on the page. And again, it was like, never having a chance to do something like this, it was really fantastic to have filmmakers that believed in me and believed in some of these ideas, and it made it, that just made it a great experience. And then, to hear, someone like yourself, like, liked it, it was a treat, because
You
again,
never
like, I
know.
haven't heard anything like this.
I know. And you're right about character. It's like a lot of times they'll just have, oh, these are bad guys. But when you have backstory, subtext to a character, and you have a little insight to what he can do, it makes everything you just kind of go, oh, this guy's got a dark side. And it just doesn't skip by that beat. I love that beat. It's important for the movie. And it's really good. I mean, there's some great lines. There's like, I always love, like, when I watch Return of the Living Dead, one of my favorite movies. It's hilarious and it's dark, but like, there's all these lines in it that I just remember. And like, there's lines like, she says, one of the characters says, I guess you missed my brain.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And I was just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That is fucking awesome. You guys have to see it. I'm not gonna.
By the way, how about when? Sorry to cut you off, but like, one of my favorites though is when the Twig character, when he's like, he's on the ground and he's like, no, I promise I'll stop saying bad things about women. Like, I have a kid, please. And she's just about to kill him. She goes, what's his name?
What's his son's name?
His performance is Courtney Gaines. He's like, it's Adolf. And it was just like, it was
I'm going to teach my son morals. I'm going to teach him. I'm going to make sure he's a good boy. What's your son's name? Adolf? Like, he's raising a Nazi? I died. There's so many little gems in there. And it's dark. If you're a horror fan, you're going to love it. If you like comedy, you're going to love it. It's just shot well. The acting's great.